here today. See what's going on. I just coming on here live. Probably be on here for like an hour, hour and a half. See what kind of buzz I get and see what we're working with. So much going on. So much going on. See what we working with. See how everybody's doing today. Got to put these questions up. Got this world premiere. See how y'all doing today. We're gonna get this world premiere. We'll start this one off real quick. And let me go ahead and get some people to come through. Let's see if we can get some people to be on here for a minute. See if anybody's out there. Just starting off everything real quickly. See what we got. I was talking about this college football game from last night. Ohio State won. Some people may have a problem with the teams involved, but we're gonna find out if we got anybody coming through. We're just gonna be on here for a minute. So come on through if you can. I don't know if see what I'm working with. What's up? What's up? Congratulations. Congratulations. Don't be shy. Come on in. Congratulations. I'm see what you think. You won. And to be honest with you, so I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. I had did my video by halftime because I looked at it. I think Notre Dame ain't coming back. And he saved everything. Oh yeah, he bought himself 5 years. He's got himself a John Harbaugh package lined up. He'll be able to Fisher Price it for at least 5 years. Well, if he loses to Michigan 2 more times, maybe not. But if Notre Dame makes that field goal, they might have made that game closer. They weren't going to beat you, but that game could have been closer. I'm not blown away by Ohio State. I'm not blown away. Y'all were good enough to win that. Under the old format, you wouldn't have been in that title game. Neither one of y'all would have been. But Notre Dame, they did okay. They okay. It's a nice story. And you won. Yeah, he will Fisher Price. He even bought himself a 4 year, 5 years. So if you didn't like Ryan Day, I'm sorry. You stuck with him for at least another 4 or 5 years. Because that win right there. They should have what's up? They should have ran a mud hole through him, though. That fumble was big. It could have been a real blowout, though. What's up, Zach? That's the guy to see you. Could have been a real blowout. Could have been even worse. Nah, that ain't why they lost. And that didn't have anything to do with it. They lost because they met against a better team. I'm with you, Arlie. I'm gonna say it like this. They won. We beat them for the real championship. We got bragging rights. Because Ryan Day's booty, that's why him and Kirk Herbstreit and Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith was all in them good, had him all mad And they was trying to defend him. I said, yeah, because you lost to Michigan. You lost to a team you should have clobbered by 3 touchdowns, and you sat there and dropped a donut. And they ain't got and thanks to the fairy godfather, you want people talk about Kansas City Chiefs with the refs and all that. Ohio State benefited. That don't mean nothing. If you don't win nothing, it don't mean nothing. I'll see what happens when we get him. Only counts if we can go to a legit bowl game. I don't want to be playing in the turtle soup bowl, you know. You gotta, so but I ain't, I'm gonna say it like this, Arlie. You know, I give them they do for winning, but I'm not, I'm not blown away. They did what they supposed to do though. They beat a team they supposed to. They won. So we'll see. But anyway, give Ted his moment to take his victory lap. You earned your victory lap. I knew it was a wrap when you spanked Oregon though. So and defend him for what? See, this is the thing. He dropped 2 balls. He fumbled one, he dropped it sure enough. To me, he looked like and acted like he lost a gambling debt. I would love it if he says that Louis the Arms was gonna break my pinkies if I didn't drop that ball. Give me a story to justify that. You know why? Because y'all rehearse that fade away all the time. You got to catch that ball. And I'm sorry, I can't defend it on that. Gotta catch that ball. Fumbling one is bad enough, you know. You're a professional player. You get paid the big bucks. You get paid to make that catch. You make that catch, you might go in overtime. You make that catch, you might win the game. You make that catch, your legacy is secure. How are you gonna come back from that? Because you gotta catch that ball. That's a rollout that y'all rehearse in bad weather, inclement weather. You gotta catch that ball. You gotta catch that ball. And the momentum was your way. He got expected. See, these cats is soft. I'm gonna tell you something. They talking all that talk. Let that have been a quarterback who blows it or something. Let that have been somebody. They be like, "Oh, he sucks. He's soft and all that." So you can't have it both ways. You diss people. What's happening? How you doing, Jay? Will? You diss people for making money and all this all the time. Guys got to make that catch. He got to make that catch. Glad to see you, Jay. Will. You got to make that catch. That's what you get paid to do. And I want someone to stop me from lying. I don't. You know, you got to catch that ball. And I don't blame him. And that's why I like Rex Ryan for that. Don't come back to the sidelines, but his color commentary be funny. And he right. Shoot. You got to catch that ball. And I hold Lamar Jackson accountable for that game too. I think they just I'm putting about I'm gonna put about 40% because he fumbled. That was a bad fumble, bad interception. And they had that goal line situation. You got to get touchdowns. I'm not gonna say 90 because I think that Harbaugh gets the other bit. The play calling was bad. I mean, Derrick Henry should have ran that ball 25 times in the snow. They were getting tore up and worn down. Why you didn't pound them in the gut, I don't know. 40 for Lamar, 60 for Harbaugh. That's what I put it on. 40-60. Because Harbaugh got to be accountable for play calling. He got to be. You can't be a championship head coach and be in that situation and don't know what to do, and then you look lost like a deer in headlights. When you were running the ball, the game was close. So I just did a video about that. I just had a video about that. All the great players, teams get calls. Repeat after me. All the great ones get the calls. You know you got to beat them. This ain't just football. Where's the outrage a bad call, but I could say the same thing about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, who got calls too. Okay, I can say the same thing about LeBron James, the Lakers, people getting calls. It happens. That's how it goes. That's not why Houston lost the game. So don't make this about, well, if they don't get those calls, they weren't going to win the game. What you mean? Do they have that Cowboys feel? Hey, you got to explain that one. I don't know what that mean in English. First of all due respect, I know it's been 30 years since the Cowboys ain't won nothing, but the Lions ain't never won nothing. So they're not used to it, Jay. There's a difference. At least with Dallas, they were used to something. This is new for Detroit. They suck for like 60 years. So now they finally out of parts Barry Sanders, before that Billy Sims, the Megatron, a lot of stink, stink, stink. So this is some new territory for them. But I think their coach being cute and trying to do all the fancy stuff, and they don't play no defense and injuries, and then you stuck with Jared Goff, who is Jared Goff. Let me get back to Allen. All top tier players teams get calls. That is nothing new. It is entertainment. It is part of it. You got to beat them. That's not why Houston lost the game. CJ Stroud, aside from that game against the Chargers, was ordinary. I'm going. First of all, I can go back. You want me to go back to when Billy Sims was playing with the Lions? The NFC North did turn out to be soft. They turned out to be, and Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, um, Jordan Love. But it was also coaching. Kevin O'Connell looked like lost against the Rams. He got ate up at home. Matt LaFleur, he prances around. He gets beat up when it counts. And Dan Campbell, Chunky Soup, is always trying to, we're going to do one overall amp. All that gimmicky stuff, you ain't playing no defense. You getting beat and you trying to do too much. It wasn't just on him. It was the coaching. I would have made adjustments against Philadelphia because Jalen wasn't beating you up. Green Bay did not make necessary adjustments. Philly put you to sleep. Let's give the Eagles their due. Their defense will put your butt to sleep. They get you to play a certain way. And then Shaquan does a little running. And then um um J- Hurts Hurts gets on that little tuck push. They start doing the push on you. They wear you down. You don't get a lot of possessions against the Eagles. And all it takes is a couple mistakes. That's what the Rams did. I watched it. But you see, that's the coach. That's the coach. After he threw that ball over the first time, we got to start playing time of possession. Green Bay went in there trying to firepower, and they went in there trying to be cute. You got to beat them with smash mouth. You don't beat the Eagles trying to be cute. It's not going to work. It's not hitting a home run against them. You got to wear them down. That's how you beat them. Then you make Jalen Hurts have to beat you with his arm. You have to make them. That's why they were in disarray with AJ Brown. Saquon didn't bail their butt out. I'm telling you, that's why he's my MVP. But y'all can sit there and Hurts gets disrespected, but they have their offense leaves a lot to be desired, believe it or not. They always do enough to beat you. Because Matthew Stafford can hit you with the problem is that Sean McVay got out coached and their defense looked bad on the line. And that was the difference, really. Philly had their way. It was just enough. They didn't utilize that tight end. They didn't get physical with Philly. And that's what happened. Yeah, I know there's a lot of no names. I give you that. But he does have a tendency to do a lot of hocus pocus stuff. That what's that got to do with that game against Houston with them all them sacks? And how they beat Houston was still amazing. Now the Lions gotta get more discipline. And you can't be, you gotta finish what you start. You gotta finish what you start. Because it will be short lived if they don't. Well, I've been howling about Shaquan. I've been howling about Shaquan. To tell you, I've been howling about Shaquan all year. Because without him, Philly's not running the NFC. And I said the best team in the NFC. Um, in totality, it was Claret. In totality, because he was playing both sides of the ball, the defender too. Not only that, but he can stop you on a dime. It's like he hits that corner, and then in another gear, and his juking is sick. It's just that he's in a situation where he can thrive. And believe me, it's an insult that he didn't get to break the record. So I'm still gonna hold that over Philly. But am I surprised where they are? Nope. Nope. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Remember, this is two NFC championship games they've done with salami in the last 4 years. Why? Because that other team in the NFC sucks so bad, the NFC East, they could even make the playoffs. If that's what breaks your heart, that you down there with the New York Giants, is that what hurts your heart? It's gonna be a lot longer than that because Jaden Daniels is for real and Hurts is for real. So you might be waiting. mm, he can play. He reminds me it's like part Mahomes meets part Doug Williams. He's got ice in his vein. They got a nice squad. They got a nice squad. They got a can't lose, won't fall back. Won't you got to really tag them. And I like what they're doing. I like what they're very poised, cool as a cucumber. Yeah, you're gonna have to wait. But that's because y'all don't draft right, y'all don't think right, and it shows. It shows. Washington done a 360 from last year. And you know what? Let me address that. Good part, Ted. Yeah, I'm glad we made it, but I'm not sold. We I don't even know we should have won that game. Being honest, we played well enough, but we got to do better than that. They ain't, we were very lucky in that game. Very, very. Did not play our best. Yeah. In baseball, stat pattern was cool as long as individualized, not where you did it against a team when you were about 5 runs because that was considered bushwick. Basketball, if you suck, you were a whack team, and you were playing in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, football you ran in. If you were lower level, and that's what you had, and we acknowledge guys, but then there were guys that had no personality with stat pattern. But now it's universally accepted. Why? Because everything is more offensive oriented. That's why. I do too. I do too, because some of them records would have been put out of reach. I agree. But there was more team oriented ball back then. We were all about the team. And it's still, I mean, let's be realistic. Aside from a quarterback in football, no one else really debates other positions based on your rings. So football is the ultimate team sport, except for quarterbacks. And even that, Mahomes is considered the best by some. So, or Montana. So, hey, football, baseball, you know the teams. No, I don't. Not at all. Because they would need a couple. I know why the allure is now because of a Jaden Daniels and everything with Washington or Philly. But no, he needs to. The mindset has to change. The mindset has to change. Well, his back gave out on him. Had his back held up, who knows? But that was a different era. I was in that era, and you might get clothesline for some of the stuff you would get clothesline for some of the antics cats do today. You get knocked out for that mess. That would not fly. You know. It's one thing we know you bad. It's another thing when you trying to, no, you get clothesline for that. Listen, if they clothesline Michael Jordan like it was in the steel cage in the 80s, what do you think they would do to some of these turkeys today? Think about it. That wouldn't fly. And he got clotheslined by the Pistons. I'm telling you. That a lot of that stuff that you see now would not fly back then. Football was different. You could throw the quarterback around like a rag doll, body slam, or hits. Yeah. But Dallas always got calls back in the day, and Pittsburgh did too. So this is nothing new. I don't like to hear these heads on sticks who know better act like this is something new. Because many people thought the Steelers got away with calls back in the 70s. The Cowboys got away with calls. This is nothing new. So I'm not going to sit up here and romanticize, oh, Kansas City gets all the calls when it's been going on forever. It's always been. And believe me, I'm going to say this real bold. Because if Mahomes three-peats, I ain't got no problem because they don't have an asterisk or any they don't have anybody looking at them suspect like the New England Patriots. So until you come up with some evidence where tapes were destroyed, alleged cheating, alleged this and that, quarterback gets suspended for 5 games a season, get back at me. And I'm not saying that Brady isn't a GOAT and generally one of the greatest players ever, etc. But y'all do have some question marks. So before you come at Mahomes in Kansas City, come on now. But it's been going on forever and a day. Well, first he got a three-peat. If he four-peats, if Mahomes was the four-peat, you're a Laker fan, right? You'll never hear LeBron James's name mentioned again if he was the four-peat. I have no problem if first of all, it depends on the sport. Everybody is doing it for incentives. Obviously, if you're a running back, I got no problem with you stat pattern because you don't have a long-term shelf life. I get that. And you're supposed to get as much as you can get. And I'll break it down to tiers to you. If you're a first tier player, you're gonna get a signing bonus, endorsements, and about 2 to 3 contracts. If you're second tier, you get a signing bonus, endorsement, and 1 to 2 contracts. Options. Third, you get maybe a contract, maybe an option, and that's it. So you don't have you fall into 3 tier groups. So it's different. Well, you gotta know what you're doing to stat pad. I mean, obviously you gotta be in a situation, but the difference is, okay, so you name the sport, I can tell you. Baseball is hard to stat pad because you gotta be a heck of a player, hitting the ball, stealing bases, those things. So it is. But the reason why guys get called out on this because obviously they're like LeBron James situation. You gotta put everything out where, you gotta put everything out like where you are doing something so, you know, enormous. And then it becomes like, but it's at the detriment of your team's success. So why do you have to do that? I don't understand this thing about Jennifer Lopez and Kevin. I don't know what that means. But stat padding is a situation where people do take it upon themselves, and they do. They do. Mark Andrews, I got to remember that. So it's real. Yeah, I know. And what's your point? He was a great player, and he was at the peak of his powers. What's your point with that? They suck. He got paid crazy amount of money. He was a villain. He was a guy that you love to hate. No, but he did look like he was stat pad in the sense that he was with a team that we knew weren't gonna win nothing. So it put him in a bad light because he took the money. It's like with Bryce Harper. When you're considered a villain, you never get if you do anything but win, everyone's gonna assume that you just piling up because you really ain't. And you do have to pile up. Baseball's a different animal. You don't get paid hundreds of millions of dollars without keeping people interested, good or bad, and what you got to do. So that's one sport that really you get a pass for it. Yes, because he was a game changer. He you couldn't teach what he could do. He was an effective part, and he was a better player than both those guys to me. I seen him in his peak in his prime. He was a better passer, and you could put him up against anybody, and he wherever he went from Detroit to San Antonio to Chicago, took Wallace a while to get his thing together. By the time he got to Detroit, he was strong and athletic, but it's a certain style to fit. Dwight Howard is a guy that should have been way better than he was. He should have been better than Rodman and Ben together, but we didn't get the full totality of them. He had a great year that year, but he got overshadowed by Barry Bonds. I'm gonna get into that. A-Rod was great. I loved A-Rod. One of the best players I ever saw. But I don't think he always got the best out of him. And a lot of it was because he didn't be on championship teams. We take No, they don't. No, they don't. Because Rodman, as great as he was, you got to have someone that is an alpha. And he wasn't better than what Dwight Howard was doing at that time. But you asking me for what individualized, I'll say individualized. And individualized in terms of what he can do with your team. He's tough. He can hold his own because he could complement Michael Jordan. Could Ben Wallace and Dwight Howard have complimented Michael Jordan? It depends on what kind of situations they're in. You gotta remember something. Uh, Ben Wallace was great at what he did. That's in totality with the team. But Robin was a rarity. He won 2 games in the finals against the Sonics. I don't never look at Ben Wallace and say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna win a game in the finals," or Dwight. That's what makes Rodman better. He won 2 of those games in that finals in '96 against the Sonics. You look it up. George Karl was the first to say it because they did a pretty good job against Jordan and Pippen in that finals, actually, except for Game 3. But Rodman was arguably the MVP of that series. The work he did in the center, he could take you out your game. He really mentally, and we blame with Carmelo. That's the only thing. Dwight and Ben are great defensive players, all that. He wasn't that hurt. He wasn't that hurt. They shot too many threes, they shot too many bricks, and they were undersized too. Phil Jackson utilized Ron Harper, Tony Kukoc, and the second team really well to put size against the Sonics on the bench. Because Detlef Shrimp and them and Hershey were good, but no, he wasn't. Because he didn't stop Shaq. Shaq still had 28 and 12 and 14. What you talking about? He didn't do it. Okay. If we're gonna take Chauncey Billups out the equation, who outscored Gary Payton by 100 points, if we're gonna take him out of that, the real MVP, and it wasn't even about scoring, was Rasheed Wallace. Because she was the answer that the Lakers had no answer for. And he was Mandinko, he was on the perimeter, he was inside out. They had no answer. And he got the best of Carmelo at the time. He was too deep. That block shot against Reggie Miller and that series against the Pacers is why the Pistons went to the finals. Basketball, baseball's got it like that too. Because when Freddie Freeman hit that home run in the first game in the World Series, I knew the Dodgers were going to win the series. Basketball is like that too. He takes one play and the team can go on a crazy. Because Tayshaun, when he blocked Reggie Miller's shot, they won that series against the Pacers. I said, well, they're going to win. That's something special right there. Yeah, Rodman for a while, like I said, from the Pistons, the Spurs, the and to the Bulls, he had that kind of, you know. No, he isn't no Hall of Famer to me. No, middle of the road second tier player because he squandered a lot. He wasn't that good in Boston and Minnesota. He had moments, but there were better guards. But in that finals, because of the way Larry Brown executed and drew up the plays, he looked as great as anybody. There was a lot of politics with Dennis Johnson. And that's a lot of politics involved. But I'm a firm believer, and Skip Bayless of all people once said something's true. If you're a Hall of Famer, you are. It's not something that we should have to wait 60, 80 years to determine. But they got a lot of politics involved, as you know. But Billups played great in that finals. Him and Rip were too much for he didn't cost him a ring, he cost him another beatdown by the Lakers because the Pacers weren't gonna beat the Lakers in the finals. It cost them a chance to get play against Shaq and Kobe again. He'd have made done a little bit better though, because the way Kobe played, I think Kobe would have been all right. I didn't like the Pistons were a bad matchup for the Lakers. Yeah, 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 yeah. But no one ever talks about it, Jay Will. But yeah, yeah. Reggie wasn't gonna get no ring though. You really thought they were gonna beat the old four Lakers with Karl Malone and Gary and them? No, they weren't gonna beat them. Cost him a chance to get to another finals though. That block was that was a wicked block. But see, Reggie was slow. He went down the court and he wasn't gonna dunk it. And he sat there and Tayshaun caught him going up to the left, took it out on the fast break. And that was a turning point of that game. And they went on. That's funny because I've never heard anyone put Chauncey Billups on the same level as Sean Kemp. But yeah. And Kemp's one of those guys that you could sit there and debate, but I don't think he'll get in because his career didn't finish up as it should have. And he ended up becoming a high flyer. It's kind of like the Blake Griffin disease. It's cats who are known for one thing, and if they don't do anything else, that's how they get kind of lumped and typecast, and that's what happens. All right, now please continue to hit likes and everything. Hard to say because who was your coach? Larry Brown. Larry Brown did not like rookies, so that's hard to say. It's wishful thinking, but not a bust because he did play, but underachieved severely. Not a bust though. Not a bust. 'Cause it wasn't like he came to the NBA and couldn't play. It's just that he had a if I feel like doing it mindset. You know, I told you about some of them guys, they play like if they feel like it. And then just he had the cars and he had the women and the lifestyle, just didn't have the mindset and he didn't have the right structure. But he should have been the link between Charles Barkley and Karl Malone. He should have been. Hold up, I'll be right back. Time and time. Hold up. Had to take a station break. I am back. What we got? What we got? What we got? Let's see what we got. I don't come back. Greetings from Holland. What's up, Richard? How you doing? Thank you for coming through. I'm taking Jamal Crawford, then Lou Williams, and then Detlef Shrimp. But I will say this. Thank you, Ted. You confirmed it. I love Jamal. Jamal's one of them guys that now you talk about guys that you wish could play today. He'd start today. He played 20 years in the NBA as a six man. Let that sink in because his style was seen as a six man. It wasn't seen as a starter. Today, he'd be fighting to get 100 to $200 million. Think about it. And I did like Lou Williams. Lou had some sweet moves. Lou was tight. I will say this about that Les Shrimp. You put him in a situation where he could uh showcase his versatility, he would be something else. What about Russell Westbrook? I don't understand. Oh, okay. You talking about six man? No. It's a nice story, but it's kind of like he can play off the role and he's doing a good job off the role, but I don't know. I don't look at a six man like I used to. Today's six man doesn't quite hit the same because you got to do it where you're a championship worthy guy. That's how I'm going to be impressed today. Yeah, you really ain't offering anything different than what they got. Now he's a great fit for Denver, and I give him props for that. But do I think that the six mans that I remember? You remember James Harden was a six man. How'd it turn out? That's what I'm talking about. You know, so and they got to be a better team. Can they be a championship team? Stat wise and who he is a big thing, and he doing good. What's up? Stackhouse's arrogance and ego got in the way. Derek Coleman, I'm telling you, AI, ironically, the one that was considered the bad boy and problematic was probably the most level headed of the three, in all honesty. No, no, Ted, no. I liked him, but no, no. Could play. His defense was on point and everything, but no, 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 no. Homeboy Hall of Fame, yeah, but no, no. We remember cats, but no, the Stackhouse's arrogance was in that Derek Coleman. It's funny when you mention that because I don't think. Well, Ted, are you seeing mass deportation in Ohio? Because David Gonzalez says mass deportation. It's not going to be what you think. It's not going to be what you think. What's going to end up happening is basically they're just going to do people that have records and stuff like that. They're not going to be messing with everybody. And eventually, what's going to happen is they're going to bring some people back because we know that what he talks and what he says is two different entities. You said yep to what? Yeah to what? Trump got a lot of people up hyped, and it'll sound good early. And then just like most things he does, it'll fade after a year. And somebody'll come back through. Because that's how it always goes. Well, I'm not saying there won't be a lot that go away, but there'll be some that'll stay too, you know. Because again, when they need those jobs and those particulars, they will bring them back. I think it's a lot of window dressing early on. And I think that people get excited, but what they're getting excited about, everybody in the States is an immigrant or migrant. So what's the point? I mean, that's the problem. Of course he is. He got probably a pardon to worry about, and he's got a baby, another baby to feed. And it's kind of funny how he all of a sudden is back in the pop in the spotlight because he been a oldies but goodies act for like the last decade. No one's talked about Nelly. But he was at them Diddy parties with shaking your tail feathers. Whatever. All these cats is tied together. So, well, you'll see how it all goes. I don't feel bad for no one who gets deported who supported Trump though, because you wanted it, you got it, and don't be crying. Oh, I didn't see it coming. Because no, when it comes to music, music is music. As a matter of fact, black artists have every right to do country music videos or doing country stuff because it is all connected musically. His problem is that, well, see, this is the thing about Nelly. The reason why I call Captain Crunch Munch on him is simple. He's the one that came out a few years ago, right around Snoop, something about, I like Trump the man, I just don't like him for my president. And what do you do? What do you do? First time he needs a performer, you get your feet all clinking together. The videos don't bother me because he already had a background with Tim McGraw. And music is music. If you happen to trade it, but this is the problem that you run into. The racism of Nashville, they act like they so do you talk about Gotti acting like they own and Nashville's got a balance of folks there. So, but that Grand Ole Opry, that whole scene, Nashville, they'll have you thinking that you don't belong. No, no one is shocked about Nelly. The thing about Nelly is, I'm gonna say it like this: he was always like a triple junior Whopper, LL Cool J knockoff, because he did a talent show, and he's similar. Haslam said the reason why the Warriors teams will lose is because they light skin on your name. Hate to say it. I hate to say it. I hate to say this. Sadly, there's some truth to that because when Curry took over, Allen Iverson came out and said, I didn't know light skin could do that. And it's sad. But that's not the reason. That's not the reason. Let me break this down. Steph and Clay were that great. They were great. And they changed the course of basketball. LeBron, Wade, and Bosh changed it because they could team up as three guys in their peak and their prime as a team. But the Warriors actually changed it because of what they did on the court. That was strictly basketball. That wasn't no gimmick tree. That wasn't nothing else. It was strictly what they could do on the court. That's what people fell in love with because it's like, wow, I can be any size anywhere and can do what they do. And I'm not removed from that. That's why. The Heat were arrogant. And when they lost to Dallas, that was humble pie. But I'm not. Is LeBron the most been the face of the NBA? He's been more revered than Steph. I think Steph's been the better player, but they love LeBron. So I call Cap and Crunch on Haslam on that one because LeBron got fanfare when he went back to Cleveland and fanfare with the Lakers for the most part. So I don't know what he talking about with that. It only would apply if we're talking in terms of what's it about ones that Steph and Clay won. And they didn't team up. They were actually teammates. They were homegrown until they got Durant. So there is truth in that, but this ain't it's like you're talking about the wrong situation. As for Shador, probably the Raiders. Raiders or the Giants. It'll be something that stinks. And what Dion is trying to do is hope he don't get drafted by Cleveland. That's the one they want to avoid. That's what they're trying to avoid. Hold on a second. That's what they're trying to avoid. That's the one they don't want. I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. That's not a surprise. He was the guy that the Raiders wanted. That's not a surprise. Hold it. Okay, I am back now. Have to get some stuff. Yeah, and that's the reason why he'll go back to college too. You really think his daddy gonna say go to Cleveland? We don't need money that bad. We don't need money that bad. I want to write this down about Haslam. Write this down. Because I don't like that at all. And I'm going to address that. I can't. I see. I can't believe the Giants. Because they're the Giants. What you expect? Those stupid sign above midlife talking about fire everybody and your coach coming back and you lost your quarterback and your running back should be a league MVP and he's going to an NFC championship game and your butt was already eliminated by week 6. Please. The Browns are embarrassing. Help wanted sign right now. If you got a good right arm and you can throw the ball, if you can be a good paper boy and you can throw the ball, if you can throw the paper to the front porch, you got a job. Come on now. We look at Cleveland like a wasteland. What the heck happened to Deshaun Watson? Jameson Jameson playing Jameson playing quarterback for both teams was hilarious. I mean, and then you stuck with it's just bad. Any Cleveland Brown fans? Anybody want to claim Cleveland? Feel free. Feel free. I feel bad for Miles Copeland. I told you. Ted knows. Think that dude's a beast. But he's wasting away. It's a good thing we have access like this to watch Miles Copeland play because, you know, he's wasting away in Cleveland. It's a shame. It's a shame. Jameson asking for prayers while he throws so many picks. I'm like, man, just bad football. Bad, bad, brutal bad, you know. So, and they got the nerve to talk about they're gonna get a new stadium downtown Cleveland or something. I give the dog pound credit for being lovely. Every day. Yeah, I did. You need to watch my videos. I talked about Scotty in multiple videos. You need to watch my videos. I already did. So when you asking the questions, I've already touched on it. Yeah, talking about they're gonna get a dome. Yeah, what? To cover the bags that the people wear on their head, so when they go in there, they really ain't known who they are. Really, you suck. Cleveland Browns ought to be ashamed of themselves. Just embarrassing. Okay, I got some topics now. I got some. I'm gonna have to touch about the Mark Andrews. I'm gonna deal with that in the video. But yeah, I already did the Scotty. I talked about no, because the dog pound deserve it. And they got to pay the tax money. And they go, why you want to pay taxes for a team that's gonna win 5 games and go through 5 quarterbacks? That's embarrassing. He didn't humiliate him. Scotty humiliates himself. I've watched that guy do interviews. Scotty humiliates himself because he called cap on him every time he talked. One minute he loves Jordan, the next minute he can't stand him. And then he likes to insert himself. Well, I do got these 6 rings. I watched him in his peak at his prime. If anybody here is young enough who wants to ask me what I remember about Scottie Pippen verbatim, I'll tell you. I will also tell you to read Wilt Chamberlain's Who's Run the Asylum book, because he talks about why Scotty is not one of the elite. Guy couldn't make 20 points a game, and he was, because he got every right to. Yes, Pip was right about Barkley being out of shape and when he played, but Barkley was old when they played in Houston. He was old. When they lost to Utah, when Stockton hit that three, he wasn't the same dude. Him and Drexler and King were past their peak in their prime. Pip talk like he been smoking, which he comes across like he do. He makes some basketball logical sense, but then he makes other statements where he's just talking out of being a hater, and he's hoping somebody will listen to him. And was he arguably the greatest sidekick ever? He's in that argument with the top 2 or 3 sidekicks ever. But his delusion of where he ranks and what he says, he's delulu. If you watch my video when he talked about LeBron James as a team player, I said LeBron James is somewhere between the 10th best to 14th greatest player ever. You can make a debate. You can go anywhere you want. However, Scottie Pippen is in that 35 to 45 range, not in the same because of that series against the Lakers in 2000, which I hold against him. Xavier ain't punk nobody. Xavier was a lot of hot air, could play, but he was trying to do too much, and it didn't work out. Yeah, that's why I said I got him in the 35 to 46 range, Jay Will. That's what it counts for. Did he win a ring? Did Tony Kukoc not hit the game winning shots? That you such a team player? Did Kukoc not hit the game winning shot? What happened the next year? What happened next year? He's on the sidelines pointing to the Jordan's kicks to come back because the Bulls were stinking. Yeah, and bullies got dealt with on the court now, didn't he? What did he ever win? Tried to get physical and could mostly when cats play like that, they can't really play. Xavier was a decent player, but if you gotta play bully ball to win, you're not really a good player. Scotty was versatile. His defense, I will be the first to tell you this. In the finals against the Lakers, when they put him on Magic, to 98 against the Pacers when they put on Mark Jackson. He was strong against guards. You had 94 feet, he put it on you. He made you work. Problem with him was on the other side of the ball, his scoring could be abysmal. Well, you got teammates that do that, but who won the series though? Who won the series? Let's see, Pat Riley with all them cheap antics didn't work. Got they butt beat 6 games. And what was what Xavier doing? You know. And nobody that was a caliber top tier team picked Xavier McDaniel. Now, did they? Did the Bulls run and go get him? No. Did Utah go try to get him? Did Houston try to go? No. Did the Spurs try to go get him years later? No. That's the difference between a guy like that and Rodman. Um, when he played along Jordan, he was better. When he played without Jordan, when you say top five, does that mean that you could win a chip? So if I go by Larry Bird's logic, was he better than Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson? No. Was he a takeover like a Shaquille O'Neal at the time? No. Was he better than Clyde Drexler? Solo? No. Was he better than John Stockton? See, I don't understand what Bird is trying to say with that. If you say I'm playing alongside Jordan, yeah, he played great with Jordan. Without Jordan, he wasn't that distinctive. He wasn't that distinctive. Yeah, they cheated him in which series though? Because Charles Smith missed all those shots underneath the rim, which to this day I still don't know how he did it. The Knicks were almost cursed. I mean, the Reggie Miller, then the whole finger roll with Patrick Ewing in '95. They were their own worst enemy. I don't think they got cheated in that series. I don't think so. I think the one in '93 was worse. Dave Robinson was a league MVP and a defensive player of the year. Come on now. Dave Robinson has some standards. He should be. Turkey, all you gotta do is take the ball up strong. You're trying to float a bank shot. And I'm like, oh man. You make that shot, you win the series. Because it's gonna go seven. I'm sorry. I'm taking David Robinson over Scottie Pippen. He was a better scorer and a better defender. Did I say something wrong? Did I say something off? You know, Charles Smith choked that game. Yeah, he's one of those guys. They probably made him walk all the way back. He definitely did. Okay, let's keep hitting these likes at these streams. 64% says, well, Ohio State or Notre Dame come back next year. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, what we got? I think injury fans a tendency to tear down Pippen. Kobe fans do it to Shaq and Paul. It's not tearing them down. Let me explain something. It's not a tear down. Van X or Bibby, who you got? Um, that's a good question. I gotta go with Bibby because they did get to the Western Conference Finals. Nick was a great one-on-one player, but he was streaky. He was streaky. I like him better than I do Bibby, but Bibby was a better fit. Let me address this real quick. The reason why they tear down Pippen is because Pippen tears his own self down because he makes himself as important as Jordan. That's what the problem was. You know, Pippen makes himself more. The Kobe fans, when it comes to Shaq, there was always which camp you were in. Everybody knows Shaq was the best player during their run together. You know, Kobe did get better, but he still had pout moments and him and Powell. The bottom line, what hurts Kobe's arguments is because without a big man, he was not a threat to be a champion. It didn't work with him and Lamar doing their version of Jordan and Pip on the perimeter. It didn't work with him and Meta. It had to have a big. That's how he was successful. His talent level was geared. See, some guys can play on and off without a dominant big. Some can't. That's the difference. And he had the kind of talent, as great as he was, he had to have a low post presence. And they kept trying to create that formula from Shaq with before they got Powell, uh, with Bynum, and with Dwight. Remember, he was stacked with bigs. Look, I like Van Exel, but he was never a threat to where the threat was. And that's the problem because Nick was an individual guy who did Nick things. He had that outer body with the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs where he kind of came back a little bit, but he never played good team ball. That's why he was a bad fit for the Lakers, and that's why Phil let him go. He could play, but he could also just be a one man gang. And, just saying. And I like him too. I like him too. So don't get it twisted. It's just that who fit better for the style and the system, you know. So that's all I got to say about that. And it's no diss track. Right. Precisely. Precisely. Because if Nick had to figured out how to play with Shaq, Eddie Jones, Kobe, and yeah, they had four all stars. And Dale Harris was pulling his hair out, he would be a bit erratic, you know. And it's just a matter of playing team ball that works to what you're trying to get. So that's what messed him up. Sean. Lamar's got more versatility, but Sean worked with what he had better. Lamar is one of those guys that's a coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's a shoulda, woulda, coulda. Skill set, but Sean Marion got more out of his career. I gotta give it to Sean. And that's a tough one for me too, because I like Lamar. And Kenny the Jet used to call him the goods, but he didn't put it together. Had he put it together, he could have been like almost would have been a double junior whopper, Magic Johnson for his era. Because more so than Penny Hardaway, Lamar could play multiple positions. He could handle the rock. He could execute. But and Marion had that ugly shot, but it worked. His defense was on point. He was a factor. He made himself into a player that you had to respect. He had to work twice as hard. Lamar had the goods. Ironic, that's what the Jet caught him. He just didn't. And then when he ended up becoming a third option with the Lakers, and he kind of settled for that. Yeah. Marion was too, but Sean played, he made himself into a better player. That was a good one. Oh, Glenn Robinson, because at least Glenn had a career I could see. Jameson put up a lot of numbers, but he was a stat pattern. Athletic, but a stat pattern. And that's why they kept him in them Saudi Arabia teams. Big dog could score. It's just that he had no personality and he played in Milwaukee. But I'm taking big dog. I know Jameson had that 50-point game. I know back when 50 points mattered in the game. Yeah, Ted came up with a good one. That was a good one. Ted's questions I always like, except for one problem I have with Ted's questions. He always makes me pick the person that I don't really like as opposed to the person I really do like. Because as he does reverse psychology, Ted's almost like a psychological major. Because the people he be asking me about, like, I like Lamar more than Sean, personally. Like, I like Lamar skills, but Sean Marion got the most of his career. And that's how Ted be doing the reverse psychology. Ted'll name somebody. He'll say somebody, and I'm gonna have to pick the other dude, even though I want to pick the dude. You know, because Ted'll probably say, "Oh, how about Chris Webber versus Christian Laettner in college?" And it's like that's what he do. Ted's good for that though. Ted got them cool trolls that you he knows. It's like the synthesis, the psychological. It's good. It's good. Next time we'll see Ted on Dr. Phil's show talking about, yeah, I'm a psychological major. because it's hilarious. You know. But yeah, yeah. That is good though. But I had to take Big Dog though. Big Dog moved me more. Antoine had some good situations, but I just don't think that he was that dude. Big Dog had moments. That's the difference between the two. A good question though. All right, now we get some more conversation going on. See, we got 67% saying yes. What we got? Okay. We're gonna be on another half hour to an hour. We're gonna see how the comments go. We're gonna see where people are going. So let's keep it going. We can make it. We can do it. As far as what you talking about, a career shooter? What's your question? Or the totality? If I'm taking the whole totality, is it a whole totality or is it one or the other? If it's the whole totality, I'm taking Larry Bird. Larry was a better player. Larry was a better player. I like Curry a lot, but I can call Larry Bird the greatest. I can't say that about Curry because see, Larry, he could just beat you so many ways, you know. And I think Curry didn't had a heck of a career. That's why he's one of my 10 greatest players ever. And I would debate that about anybody with Curry. But and he changed the course of the basketball. But Larry Bird changed the course of basketball greater in what? As a 3-point shooter? And for the record, he only has about 3 or 4 thousand more points than Larry Bird for all he did. And he's played probably about 2 or 3 more years. And he's been healthier. Well, it's not like he's so, he changed the course in what you're seeing. But you give Larry Bird what Steph Curry's got, I'm just saying, no, no, no. I'm not gonna tell that lie. I seen them both in their peak in their prime. No. Steph's a top 10 player, I'll give you that. And I got him, but he ain't better than Larry Bird. Because it's not always about the numbers, and sometimes it's a lot of politics involved, and I got no control about it. I can only the people that come in to check it out is what comes in to check it out. And you know what? You never know how these things go. Word of mouth, people watch the shows come through. I don't do stuff for stats and stuff. If people come through, it's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's a lot of YouTube algorithms. So sometimes it is what it is. Can't make it what it is. If people come through, they come through. But it is happening to them. Well, the first few years Walton had his number before Walton got hurt. But also they had that UCLA thing. Well, if people pay, they pay, I mean, if they want to, but I can't, we all trying to, if people want to donate, I welcome that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit around here and politic like that. It happens. Kareem didn't have the kind of teams. Portland had a really great team. A lot of people fail to realize when Walton got hurt in 78, they were en route to almost winning 70 games. They had a great year. He got hurt. They were 60-10. They had some crazy record. They used that against him. But you asked the question was how they fare up against each other. And it was pretty close early on. Now because Kareem had a better body of work. I can't tell you how to you had to put a lot of work in. Being a content creator takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication. You have to have a lot of support and you have to put contents and sometimes it's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of means. I don't really go into details because that everything works differently. It depends on what your subject matter is. You see, if I did certain types of product and themes, I probably could get a lot more. But I choose not to use certain language and I choose not I try to be more enlightened and educated and also more spiritual and more clean. If you use certain language and certain things, people tend to gravitate towards that. And that might cost me, but I can live with that. That's my conscience. So it all depends on what you're trying to promote, what your agenda is. It all depends on the person. Kareem, I don't discuss that, but I have made something, but I'm not gonna get into all that. That's not what it's about. You know, I would tell you that if you're a content creator, you have to put the work in, you have to put the time in, and you got to want to get connected with your audience. Pretty much, and that's pretty offensive too, because I don't like that. And I wanted to answer this question. Well, Kareem outlasted Bill Walton, and he outlasted Moses and his team. He was on teams that won championships, and he did win league MVPs, and he was a dominant presence and all that. That's how he outlasted. And Walton and Moses won three league MVPs, but Moses wasn't competing for titles, and he didn't play alongside of a Magic Johnson. And Moses was not considered a dignified brother. I'm just gonna keep it 100. There's politics with how you connect. What's happening? How you doing? Great to see you. You just have to put the work in. That's all I can tell you. You have to be willing to put the work in. Great to see you, NBA La Chelena. Good to see you. Thank you for coming through. I tell anybody that's a content creator, you have to be willing to put the work in. You have to take the good with the bad. You're gonna get trolls. You're gonna get people that's gonna dish you. You're gonna get people that's gonna question you. And then you also have to like unite with the family of people in the YouTube content and show the love and respect and acknowledge them. But there's no competition because I'm not battling nobody. I got nothing but respect for fellow content creators. But there's some things I do avoid. I don't get into beefs on here. I'm not disrespecting nobody. I'm pulling for everybody to do their thing. And I do show the support. You'll see me pop up in different forms and places and show the love to folks. Now, and if it happens to be people bring money or whatever they want to do, I'm not gonna turn it down. But at the same time, I'm not panhandling. And it's a work. Content creating takes time and effort. You gotta put the work in with anything. Well, they went to UCLA together, John Wooden and all that. And Ulan is the president. That's what I think about that. He just he just doesn't have the title official, but you know who runs everything. You don't put that kind of money on somebody because you just like their hairdo. Like you look at that orange hairdo and think, oh, I like your hair. I'm gonna give you $200 million. That's not how it works. It's bought and paid for. Oh yeah, well, Vinny, and he's in delusion. Yep. Kansas City is one of those teams you can never count against because they found a way to get it done. Gotta remember, Buffalo had to play a near flawless game to beat them in Buffalo in that first game. And Mahomes he's battle tested. As young as he is, it's almost like he done seen everything you can imagine. Well, when you win 3 rings and you go to 4 Super Bowls, if you ain't been tested, you've been tested. So Buffalo got to play a near flawless game. And difference between Mahomes and Lamar, Mahomes doesn't get caught making those kind of mistakes. Kelsey is not Mark Andrews. So, you know, you gotta play great against them. You gotta play, and Andy Reid knows too. Like I said before, Kansas City knows how to win games in different ways. They showed it all year. Yeah, why not? I'm with Mad Dog on that one. Cause no one else is around is gonna catch him. Josh Allen and Burrow and Lamar are not catching him. Then he's chasing history. He's in the rarefied company. Then you got to look at the 7 AFC championship games in a row to start your career. He dropped the ball, and you can't do that. You got to catch that ball. I wish people would own up and say, I choked, I messed up. Because, but Lamar is held accountable too, and Harbaugh's held accountable too. And you saw yesterday, if you watch First Things First, um, Chris Broussard put all the coats in the box. He took the purple coat off, the shades. He could put the Subway sandwich away because it was they lost the game. They should have won. As bad as they turned the ball over, they still should have won that game. And that's the coach's fault, and that's your quarterback's fault. You got to win those games. You cannot do that. Yeah, he looked all dejected. You should look it up. Cause I was curious about how he was gonna be. And I saw the video with his face all slumped with that purple coat and no shades. And then I watched and I clicked on the link. Oh yeah, it was dejection. But you know, yeah, you call and think about this. Work with me when I say this. 2 turnovers, 13 points. 2 blown 2-point conversions, 4. That's 17 points, and you still lose by 2. So yeah, top 10. Well, I ain't got Kobe in my top 10. That's where Curry gets over. I'm sorry. They're not too rough on him. You got to catch the ball. Got to catch the ball. Got to catch the ball. I might have Kobe in the top 10, and LeBron might be number 11. But Curry's in the top 10. You can't do what he did and not be top 10. And when his career is over, he's going to be a 25,000 point mark. So you look at what his totality is, he's right there with the. You're not coming in first in mine. I told you before, I got him anywhere from 10 to 14. I think the longer he plays, it hurts his legacy, if you must know. Because this Laker mess is going to embarrassing him. And he's got Anthony Davis. Now you let Curry get Anthony Davis and let's see what happens. Let's see. Let's see what happens. That's why I can't have LeBron over Curry right there. He won with Andrew Wiggins and Draymond and Clay coming off of 2 years of surgery, and Draymond, who was getting benched against the Celtics, and Andrew Wiggins, who was considered one of the most um come on now. Come on now. When Curry won that title in 2022, what did he have? He beat an upstart Celtic team with Jalen and Tatum. What did he have? That is the mark of a team player. You think LeBron would have took that cast with him to no finals? What about John AD? John Morant AD? Ja threw a nice pass last night. Ain't nobody gonna want AD gonna have to go somewhere like, I don't know. Mm, to where? To the Lakers or to Memphis? If I'm the Lakers, I would consider trading AD to Memphis and get Jackson and some of them other guys. I would consider that. I get young quick. I consider that. Oh, if he's healthy. If he's healthy. Shaquille O'Neal was 98 through 02, 03. Shaquille, Michael Jordan in the 90s, Larry Bird in the 80s. Look it up the stats. This ain't no hyperbole. The stats speak for themselves. Wilt Chamberlain in the 60s. That's 4 right there. And then mm, this leaves 4 right there. And you can debate somebody's gonna come along. They may not come along in here. They might come along and say Jokic the last 4 or 5 years. Somebody might come along and say what Jokic has done. Because he does have what 3 league MVPs and he got a chip and a finals MVP, and somebody might throw him up in there. I don't know. I'm not saying LeBron wasn't bad. He played his best ball in Miami, though, if you must know. But the problem with him is that it comes to the chips and the dominance, and you got to win. And he didn't finish up what he had. He should have had Tom Brady's record. Well, yeah, because I had to do it off the top of my head. So you want to talk about sports historian, you made me have to think. So I had to rotate that off the Rolodex with quickness. Appreciate you making me think. You know, I could have said when Moses Malone got his three MVPs in the 80s. I had to look at the numbers and how that crunch and compiles, you know. But there are guys that you can make that case. I mean, he had a great run and window, and he belongs in that window with some guys. But there are guys who had it as good, if not better, and they were dominant and they won rings. And yes, Hakeem, there you go. That's five right there. So you can make a case. There's five guys right there who had a better run, and they won multiple wins and they won. He won 3 rings from 2012 to 2018, but he lost in that window twice to Golden State, and he lost twice in Miami. So he was 3 and 4. Was Elijah won all one of his rings. Shaq won all hit well when he was dominant at his peaks, most part. Bird split rings, but it was half and half. You know, Jordan won all his when his. So it all depends on how you're looking at your criteria. There's different criteria involved. So 62%, yes. I don't even want to talk about because that's why he's not where he's borderline top 10 because that's on him. And I'm a Heat fan. So how you think I feel? He choked that series. And that is the reason why he is not in the GOAT conversation alone. You can lose, but you can't choke. You can lose, but you can't not show up. You can lose, but you cannot groan and moan and talk trash. Dirk's a bad dude. Dirk's one of the most disrespected players ever. I like Dirk. I like Dirk. And he had probably the greatest postseason run of any player I can think of recent memory because they went the teams that he had to go through to get the chip ain't easy. He had a hard hurdle. Dirk's been disrespected, yo. So Dirk, he was a great player, and he beat. What he did is he showed LeBron this is what you do with cast offs, and if you want to win, that's something LeBron James know nothing about. Not like that. Not like that. But see, that's the problem Scottie Pippen runs into too, because he ain't Dirk Nowitzki, and he couldn't have taken Jason Terry and Jason Burrow and those guys and won either. So I don't want to hear him talking trash, okay? It's not no 50-50 with me because if you want me to be honest, you want me to spit the hot take, which ain't a hot take, but I will spit the hot take, as Ted likes to say. Dwayne Wade was the best player in that series for the Miami Heat. And if they win, he'd have been the finals MVP. And if they had a won, then LeBron would have been a rider. That's a fact. That's why I hold D Wade in a tie with Kobe as the two guard because I know what Dwayne Wade could do. He had to defer and tell LeBron the next year, you run it, I'll ride, it's okay. How are you gonna sit up here and talk this King James, all this King crap to me when this guy went to another man's team to learn how to play at a high level echelon and he had to be schooled? He look at Pat Riley, show them rings, and Dwayne Wade tell him how to get it done mentally. Make it make sense. And it wasn't that long ago. And he's been trying to camouflage a sidekick or a co-star ever since he left Miami. So the disrespect of Dwayne Wade is but the disrespect to Dirk is, I mean, come on now. So anyway, Dirk won that series. Dirk took it personal when they mocked his code. It's almost like somebody when you're wearing a mask down the street and they mock you for doing common sense stuff. You unaware and they try to downplay your because you're looking out for them and you ain't starting up with them, but they coming at you. Dirk was in that situation. And he took it personal and he tore their behind up, and rightfully so. LeBron choked in the fourth quarter and scrawled and told a news reporter, well, I don't have your job. You wish you had mine. And his attitude and his arrogance, and he didn't learn. One of them. One of them. I did do a video about that, but you can make a case for Elgin Bell. There's quite a few guys you can say he's one of them. And he should have probably gotten in 2010 because he had the same average as Steph Curry did. I know people going to use how your team does. They pick when they want to pick. MVP is subjective. Well, you know how I feel about Kawhi Leonard. I did a video about the Lakers and the Clippers game, and I say this all the time. If Kawhi wasn't on that load management and he wasn't on that jive and he just busted out, he would be in that argument with LeBron, Steph, and Durant. And he would be anywhere between, you could debate him 1 to 3 when he had kept winning and he won with the Clippers. Because that's a dude you did not want to have to deal with. He did in 2006. He did a whole life before LeBron. Hate to bust your bubble. And nearly pulled it off in '05. September Shaq got hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons twice. Look, people don't either got amnesia or weren't old enough to remember when Dwayne Wade was one of the best players in the league and he could score at will and do his thing. And you can sit here and take shots, but mentally he knew what it took. That's why LeBron went to him for the magic potion. I like how people like to downplay Wade, but that's how it went down. Yes, I'm a huge Kawhi. The Kawhi's, he's one of all time greatest players and he's all that. It could have been even more. He just, you know, you don't know how filthy Kawhi really is. Saw a glimpse of it the other night against the Lakers. He ain't LeBron no good and well. He'd be in a trance trying to play against that man. And lucky he don't have that burning drive to do it like that. Because Kawhi, please. Well, I like how people like take the short shot. Anyway, please come on now. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome, hit some comments. Let's get some more going on because everything kind of froze up. I'm gonna see if people are coming back. If you are, I'm gonna keep on going. So let's see what we're working with. LeBron wouldn't have been there without Wade either. That's why he went to Miami. So tell the whole truth. You're gonna tell some of it, tell the whole. He ain't in there if he don't go to Miami. He needed Wade. He came to Wade County. He came to Pat Riley. He came there. He teamed up. So there you go. There you go. All right now. Come on back and see what we got. I'm gonna see people talking because if no one come through, I'm gonna have to kind of hit on down the road and see what we got. People getting quiet again. Anybody out there? Getting quiet again. All right. What happened to you, Ted, J. Will? Anybody out there? Okay. Trying to see what we got. If I go by the naked eye, but no, I can't even say that because it's better than Terrell Davis in the sense that he doesn't have no John Elway. And the thing is that he's doing it coming off of a situation where he got free. It's a big difference. Oh, I can understand why you're saying it like that, but it's a difference though. No, it's different. Because Terrell Davis did have John Elway back then. You had Shannon Sharp and you had McCaffrey and Rod Smith. This Eagles team, AJ Brown, they're not exactly explosive. They haven't exactly played a game where you go, wow. But you can tell that he's led the team. No, he's the best running back I've seen in the postseason. this year, and Jaden Daniels is playing the best quarterback I see in the postseason. And Philadelphia does have probably, I think, the better defense, even though the Rams did kind of expose them a bit. But we'll see how things play out, though. We shall see. All right. Please continue to hit these likes, come through and see what we got. I wonder where everybody went. We had good conversation going on. Had to get rid of some trolls, though. We'll see what's up, though. Till I see somebody coming through, I'll take a pause. All right, what else we got? Please come on through. All right. Okay. Waiting to see what we got. Jokic, because his individual success is going to triumph over him. Giannis's problem is that individually, he's got individual success, but Boston has got a better team. No one takes his team serious. You could actually see Denver being a problem if they could get another piece. Milwaukee, he didn't get the dominance like he should have gotten. Should have been. They're the two best players as far as their individual conferences. But Joker's just gonna get it because overall the triple those numbers. Depends on who he played for. But you gotta remember that takes time. Depends on which team he played for. Will they Deion Sanders him? It depends. Probably special teams, wide receiver, corner, kickoff returns, but they could probably do it. It could happen. Troy Brown did it for the Patriots during their early run. I mean, you can do it. It's just that depends on who he played for. But he will definitely have a bullseye on him, though. Bullseye will be on him, though. So depends on who he playing with, though. If you put him with a team that has to depend on a lot of, certain coverages and things, I don't know. Right. All right, please you can hit the likes, subscribe. Let's see what we got. Got more people coming through. Anybody got any questions, comments? Feel free to come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see if you want to come in and have any conversation. Let's see what we got. We'll give it a few more minutes because if I don't see anyone talking, I will have to vacate these premises. So we're just going to see. No, I don't. And see, the thing about it is this, Joe Burrows is in that division. Um, Josh Allen's in there. Mahomes is going to be around. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because usually you don't get better as you get older and the competition starts to come in and then you got the newest guys coming in. So it's going to be getting where you fit in. I think if they had more cohesive when they went and got Derrick Henry, I thought they would have been on the ball, and I think it will be tough. I think it will be tough. And you just don't know how many chances you're going to get. Peyton Manning went to 4 Super Bowls. Drew went to one. Dan Marino went to one. It's so many things have to go your way. That's why Mahomes' career is incredible. That's not the norm. You never know. You never know. You may only get one opportunity. But if you blowing it like that, then it's gonna be hard to get. Just saying. So, you know, I don't know what Travis again, because of where he goes, what kind of situation he's got. Tyreek Hill, that's not what the Ravens' problem is. That's not it. They got down the field against the Bills. They just didn't run out the I formation. They didn't do power smash mouth football. They did not play a game to do what they do best. It's common sense with them. Tyreek does what for them? I don't know. Look, Lamar Jackson's been might win a third MVP. He putting up numbers. He's won multiple MVPs and everything. So it's not like you add any more to the party. He's already done incredible things. They need guys that complement what they're about. That's their problem, you know. Um, it's psychological. So, you know, you could get Tyreek, doesn't mean you're gonna win anything. Football's not like basketball. You can stockpile a whole lot of guys. Yeah, they got injuries, but the biggest thing they got to do is gut up the middle. This is where Kansas City, Kareem Hunt could have a big day. And one thing about Kansas City and Mahomes, they know how to do what? Chew up some clock. They're not going to sit there and play pity pat and do the stuff that if they don't turn the ball over and they play possession and they get it, there could be a problem. But the Bills could come out and sling. You know, Josh hasn't came out yet, so we'll see. Game could be a blowout. So if they lose, I think you have to um, utilize another option on offense. Obviously, on defense, they got to tighten up against the run. That's why the way they beat Baltimore. Because I know good and well Derrick Henry could have probably gone for 120 on us. We're not good against the run. That's why I'm reluctant about how I get excited about the Bills. Not good against the run. It'll be a lot of second guessing. Because if you lose again, you're going to be kind of questioning yourself, like, how do we ever beat this man? And you got to remember something. You got to go through him 7 straight years. Let that sink in. So I'm just keeping it 100. That's how dominant he's been. You can say all the stuff you want to say about the refs and the ball rotate and the doinks and all that. But if you win, you win. That's all it's about. It's about winning. At the end of the day, it's about the W and L. And Mahomes gets it done. He's finding it out the hard way. But he was young. He went to South Beach and he figured he already won. And some guys get in their mind that it's gonna be that way because I'm that guy. And he came up big in the Super Bowl. You're between a rock and a hard spot with that. No, Jaden Daniels is the feel good story. Tyreek Hill's find out the hard way. It didn't end up greener pastures don't mean because you got a coach who does gimmick ball. He's basically a broke version of Dan Campbell, but with more talent to work with. But he got a quarterback that's one good hit from being a vegetable. So what you gonna do? Your defense is soft. Anything after November 30th, your butt, if it's 40 degrees or less, you're done. Well, he left y'all because the defense sucked in that Green Bay game, and Jerry Jones, they didn't want to pay him nothing. And and Dallas is notorious for letting the goods leave and getting stuck with the leftovers, and that's what they got stuck with. And Dan Quinn didn't hit the mother load because this Washington situation, if it's not tampered with and it's allowed to be in place, it can only get better. And that's the scary part. Well, I got a problem with Philadelphia because they didn't let Saquon get that break that record. That's my problem. I like Jalen Hurts. I think Hurts gets a bum rap because he got cute and he threw that ball down to Julio Jones and they met Ryan and they didn't finish the game. Do what you're supposed to do. Because cats that are poised and remember in that game, it was just basically turnovers. It wasn't they stopped New England. So Brady just got in his mind that hey, if we slow it down, we can come back. That it was more to do with just not playing smart. That's true. That's true. I'm not arguing with you. And I'm gonna say something that's the facts. If Dan Quinn was black, I don't know if he ever would have got another head coaching job any near future unless he was coaching somebody's high school. Because that was embarrassing. You might not ever come back from that. I'm just keeping it 100, you know. So, but he's doing things, and I can't be mad at him. I ain't mad at him. You know I am, but that was a choke job. So close, but no cigar. Because Matty Ice was kind of like a generic cat. He had skills, but he almost looked like he was frozen. Or he's called Matty Ice. Oh yeah, because it been Michael Vick. Yep, and there's a lot of politics involved with that. I get that. I get that. I get that. I think when you don't, and if they had a one, but yeah, because they never gave Michael Vick Julio Jones to throw to. And Matt Ryan, when he got that MVP, he had a lot working for him. So, mhm. So that's how it goes. Um, if they don't get hurt, they stay seasoned. Mm, depends on who they got to play in the playoffs. Depends on who they play. They should be able to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they might get knocked out in the second round. I think fatigue and defenses might be their Achilles. Tebow, not Tebow, but Tibbs can wear you down. So it all depends. All depends. You know, the Knicks will depend on what they got. So we'll see. They could be 2.5 back, but that don't mean they could beat them when it count. We'll see what Boston is looking like. Boston looked good last night, though. I like how Jason Tatum looked at Steve Kerr and didn't say nothing. Wax stay behind poetically. Waxed them. You know. But Boston, if they're healthy and put together and they play like they can play, and you got Porzingis coming in with what they got, they're gonna be hard to beat. You know. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. I'm sold on OKC because of Shea. I just think they're gonna come out the West, and I think that once Chad Hogan comes back, I just think they got a little bit more. I like what Cleveland's got, but Jared Allen to me is the X factor. He has to be another level. They have to show me another person in terms of frontline defense. Offensive, they can hang with anybody, but I'm sold on Shea. But they're the two of the best teams going on, I think, and that would be a finals I would love to see. But OKC got me both wrong. Good question, though. Real good question. What about you? Who you sold on more? If I thought Donovan Mitchell could take it to Jason Tatum and them, and it could be a problem, I would say that because I like what they got, but I gotta see Jared Allen really go off. That's the one I want to see. But I think OKC, I got no questions about Shea. He's been on consistent streak. They still looking to see what they can make a trade with. They're looking for a third team to get involved. That's what's up. It's just a wait and see. But they're not gonna unload him for a pack of groceries, and they got to get something for him. So for third team mergers, watch out. There's a possibility for a contender. Mm. That's the ultimate goal would be. But who's the championship team? Because championship teams for Jimmy Butler to go to will either be Boston when he come off the bench. And I don't know if they need him in Cleveland per se. The Knicks would take him. He get a run there, and then out west, OKC's already stacked. Maybe Denver. Mm. Okay. People going quiet again, so let's get some comments going. Please continue to hit this likes up. I'm gonna be on for just a while longer. And like I always say, if you don't catch this live, it's always on the replay. 64% saying that they think there's gonna be Ohio State Notre Dame back. That's interesting. Okay. See what time we got. All right. See if I get anybody coming through. I think everybody kind of peeked out what went on. So if anybody got anything to say, let me know. I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes and then I'm gonna call it a day because if I'm not getting any buzz, trying to see if anybody's out there. Okay. Couple minutes. And I do have my videos out there, so feel free to watch them today and let me know what you're thinking and whatnot. But anyway, see if anybody wants to talk. I got a couple more minutes. All right. Well, nobody came back, so I think I will conclude. Appreciate when it did come through. Um, Probably be back in a couple of days. I think I'll skip tomorrow. So I get some fanfare, somebody bombarding me. I think I'll skip tomorrow. But it was good talking to you. Thoughts and comments and everything is always appreciated. Um, Good time stream and everything like that. So appreciate when it came through with all the comments. Just sad when it kind of, it goes cold, but it happens though. So anyway, please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I appreciate everyone that comes through. Thanks for taking poll on the vote, Ohio State Notre Dame. So one thing's the next year that we're representing. So mighty glad you came. Thank you. Have a good day and my peace.